You know those moments when you feel like someone just gets you, like they're seeing beyond the surface into something deeper? That's exactly what it feels like to be in the presence of Karen Docherty. Karen is an internationally renowned psychic medium and spiritual mentor, a bridge between worlds, who has been communicating with spirits since childhood. She's guided thousands through grief, uncertainty, and awakening with deep compassion and grounded wisdom. Today, Karen will share what it means to be a psychic medium, how spirit communicates through her, and she'll be offering live readings. Even if you're not the one called on, trust us. There's always something meant for you in the messages that come through. Whether you're navigating loss, feeling disconnected, or simply curious about what exists beyond what we can see, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Let's get started. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Robin. How are you?
I'm honored, really, to be with you today and with everyone that's here with us in this community and here right now. And would love to just start with who you are, where you are, and what you do and what people can expect for today.
Yeah, isn't it funny when someone asks you that and suddenly you're like, yeah, who am
Yeah,
I and
I,
where am
I
I?
totally agree. Yes.
You suddenly think, oh yeah, I don't normally
Yes.
introduce myself that way. But yes, I am Karen Docherty. I am based in Scotland in the UK. And my mediumship is obviously why I'm here and why we're talking and having this evening. But day to day, that's my life. It's my mediumship, aside of obviously personal, family and all the rest of it. But mediumship really is what I'm all about and it's who I am. And it became my purpose, it became my life when I realized that I was a medium, which took some amount of years to distinguish, what was going on with me. I'd seen spirits since I was a young child. So it didn't dawn on me then until much later that not everyone done this or not everyone's seen the things that I've seen. And in my late teens, I started to develop that and try to understand what was taking place and what was going on. And that just kind of led me to here. It was a spirit-led thing. It's a vocation as far as I'm concerned. Mediumship is about bringing healing between the two worlds because we've all lost people. We've all lost people to the spirit world. And, we're all going to be there one day and however many years to come. And it's really about making that blend between the two worlds. And I think it's about making it count. It's not entertainment. I don't do my mediumship as an entertainment thing. It brings joy to people. It can put a smile on your face. It lets you know that your loved one's there. So for that side of it, I love seeing that that's what it brings. But on the other side of it, it brings healing. It brings, just peace to people to know that their loved one is there and that they are all right and that they are going to be with them again one day. And that whilst we have to live in this world, that their loved ones are surrounding them and helping them and guiding them and being part of that journey.
Yes, everything to everything, all the things you just said, and really that healing part, I know for myself, it continues to heal. It really does. And even when for someone like me who can connect, when someone else is able to help you see that even for yourself, like it's so there's everybody is able to connect in their own way and receive messages in a different way, which is why we do what we do, to showcase all the different ways that people are able to connect in and help facilitate the healing for others. So thank
Yeah,
you.
I agree. And I think that, people do recognize at times that they receive signs or receive just that touch of spirit. And then other times life is so busy that we don't really notice, like life is so noisy and we're, living life and doing what we have to do. So sometimes it can go unnoticed as well. And I think that when someone is desperately looking for something and they consult a medium, then it just bridges that gap, But
It
I
really
do,
does.
I do, yeah, and I do encourage people to look for the signs and feel them for themselves because um, there is something special about that as well. It doesn't always have to be through a medium. So I agree that every one of us can connect in some way.
Yeah, and I feel like experiences like this can be unlockings for you, for whomever's here today. This can be a time for you to start to recognize and then become more aware in your day to day of the signs that you're receiving or the messages you may be getting. So
Yeah, exactly.
tell us how you work and what people can expect today.
So today is always, we always say like a demonstration, but an experiment at the same time.
Mhm.
So when I'm working with my mediumship in this environment, it's always spirit led. It's always going to be that I will connect with them first, bring in the evidence that I'm receiving from them, and then whoever can recognize that within the people that are here can let me know, and then we make that connection from there on. So it's really about your spirit people stepping forward now. And I would always say that if you've got someone in mind, this is a common thing that people think, oh, it might be my mum or it might be my dad or, it might be the closest person, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it can be someone that you wouldn't expect to show up. But usually when that happens, it's for them to open the door to the next person. That's the way I would say it. So it's not easy for the spirit world to communicate through mediumship. Even though we do it, it's not an easy task. It's not like picking a telephone up and just hearing the information or hearing someone talk. So it can take time, and it can take time to build that link. So sometimes when there's someone else that can help with that, if you've got a great uncle there, for instance, and you think, that sounds like my great uncle, but why would he come? Still tell me that you can understand it, because it might just be that he's helping your mum come in or helping someone else that's a bit closer to you come in. I always would say to trust the way the spirit work. They're not going to be in here for nobody. There's going to be somebody here that can understand the recipient that comes forward. So I will just work away and just see what I can pick up and see what I can achieve. The other thing I would always say is I'm always 100% honest with my work. And if I feel as I'm working with you that the link's not strong, or I feel like I'm not really connecting the way I would like to, I will always tell you that as well. And likewise for the people that are going to receive messages, please be honest. Please say no if it's no. Yes and no are fine. I don't know is fine. But people get reluctant to say no to a medium because they don't want to offend the medium, or they want the medium to be right.
Mm.
But I always say just say no, because I can pick up things wrong or misinterpret something. And the biggest thing I want you to take away from this is the validation that it was your loved one. And if you're saying yes to things that you don't understand, that's going to invalidate your experience. So that's for me to sort out. So just yes, no, or I don't know is fine. And then if you want to share things, that's fine. But if you don't, that's fine too.
Thank you for saying that. I think that's really helpful for everybody to hear and remember as we go through this experiment today. So I'm going to make
Oh, I
take us
froze it.
off spotlight. So I was just saying thank you for saying all that, and so that for everybody as you're going through, as we're saying, this session or experiment today, remember that. So be honest, because that will only help the whole experience. So I'm going to
Absolutely.
take us off of spotlight, and I'm going to let Karen do her thing.
All right, so let me just get started and see who we've got coming forward. Okay, so I have a lady here, first of all, and I knew that as I was talking earlier, I felt this lady was standing beside me. And as she was coming forward, I feel that she's mum for the person that I'm looking to speak to this evening. So I feel like it's mum. And I also can sense with this lady that there was a deterioration with her before she passed. So it wasn't a sudden passing for this lady. I feel that she shows me that she must have spent time within a hospital environment. It could be hospice, but definitely where she would have needed some help and support to get through what she was going through. And I also feel with her as well that she talks of, initially I was going to say two children, but then it flipped to three. So I don't know if there's three children, two of one, one of another, or like two and three. But there's certainly, she definitely is putting me between the two and the three. Okay, so I'll work that out when I find my recipient. I feel that she's a humorous lady when she wants to be, and I feel that she's very much in charge and she's very independent. And I know that she did not want to be a burden to anyone. So these are all the first things that I'm picking up. And I'm not sure if anyone can understand with the beginnings of that information.
I see Chantal raised her hand. So I'm going to go there. I know. And I recently lost my mom. So I don't know if we'll see there may be messages through Chantal that I know I'm supposed to hear as well. So let me,
Does does that make sense for you as well, Robin, though? For your mum?
she definitely was deteriorating. At the end, she
Okay.
was in hospice, and I have one sister. So
So there's two of you. Okay.
there's certainly
Elements. So let me speak to Chantel
yes,
also, and I'll work and I'll feel the pull where I'm going.
yes.
So I can't see
Oh, can you say it,
Chantel in
Chantal?
this.
Okay.
No.
Um, okay. Hang on, Chantal. And
There you
then
are.
where is
I
Karen?
see you now. Does this all make sense to you as well, Chantel?
It does. I too have one sister, and my mother died of colon cancer. So long death, lots of in and out of the hospital, and she was she ran the world.
Okay. And
And
is there three grandchildren then? Is there three
so
grandchildren? Yeah.
there were, well, so I had one grandchild living at the time of her death. I was 8 months pregnant when she died, and my sister was also pregnant with twins. So there were three in utero at the
So
point
there
she
were three.
passed.
Okay, so
I
I
think
do
this is
feel,
Chantal. So
yeah, I
I'm
feel that
gonna,
I'm with you.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel I'm with you, Chantel. So I just felt as soon as I started speaking to you, she made that clear about the other three grandchildren. Okay, so that's to let you know that your mum knows the children, all right, and that she's around the children that have come after she passes. Now, your mum is a funny lady. Like, I honestly feel with her, you could go and spend time with your mum, you would smile, you would laugh. The things that she would say sometimes, you would think maybe she shouldn't say it like that, but she's just such a joyous, caring lady. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And you know what? I wouldn't get on the wrong side of your mum either, because I feel like if she needed to tell you off, you were going to get a telling off. And that's it. No arguments, right? And that's the way she raised her family. And I can sense with your mum as well that you have had communication from your mum before. I feel like she's been through to you before, or you felt her with yourself, because I know this isn't the first time she's communicated. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
And you know, as she does that, she knows that everyone pulled their weight, she's saying. She knows that everyone done their bit for her. You know, I feel that it was a lot at the time for her family, for you and your sister, but she knows that everyone kind of came around her at the times that she needed, all right? And I also feel like there was a worry though about someone not getting a goodbye with your mum. So did someone miss her passing or worry that they were going to miss it?
Um, that's entirely possible. She was the eldest of 13 children. All of her siblings wanted to come see her, and she was adamant when she was sick that she didn't want to be seen because she was just sure she wasn't dying. She was never dying up until her last breath. So I
Okay.
feel like that's probably what that's tied to.
The worry there. I feel that your mum was that strong and independent that you're saying she didn't want to talk about the death side of things and she didn't want to, but it wasn't, I feel that your mum did know that this maybe it would maybe go that way, but I feel that she wouldn't want to be a burden to anyone else. And I feel that she wouldn't want to steal the joy away that she could still have while she was on this earth. I feel that that's the way your mum runs things. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And do you know, is there someone called Paul?
Her,
Paul.
her dad,
Okay, and is he in the spirit world as well?
he is.
Yeah, because I can hear her saying Paul, so she'll be letting you know that her father's there as well, all right? And did you know your grandfather?
So I did know my grandfather.
Yeah, because he feels like he's a strong man as well. He feels like he's strong and he's standing up. My shoulders are getting pushed back here, so I know I've got to do things properly. And I feel like that's the way your grandfather is. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a disciplined man as well. But again, I want to say that that ran through your mother as well. So I feel like your mum had to kind of, maybe because she had all the siblings she had, but it was a tight ship, you know, they ran a tight ship, and that's just how it comes in. Now, I will say that your mum seems to have this I don't know that she was officially a nurse, but I feel like she was a kind of nursing person. So I don't know if you would just say that she was a carer for everyone or she took care of everyone that was in her circle. Is that correct?
That's exactly who she was. She wasn't a nurse, but yes, she fixed everything. She was the peacemaker. Everybody went to her.
You know, and as you said, peacemaker, she is making me feel she had to do that sometimes. So I feel that it wasn't easy at times. And I know that I'm going to say your sister that you talked about, she's still here. She's still here. Now, has there been a conflict around your sister as well, though, or was there a conflict after your mum passed?
Yes.
I'm not saying like it's a long lasting thing or that you're not close to your sister, but I am feeling like it wasn't all a walk in the park, we'll put it that way. I just feel like things were different, or there were some complications that would rise and fall, and it was a bit difficult at times. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I want you to know that your mum's very proud of you, Chantel. I feel like you need to know that she's very proud of you, and she knows that you talk to her every single day. She knows that you talk to her and that you include her in everything. And the children do as well, the grandchildren, even the ones that didn't know her. I feel like they do know her because you keep her memories alive. Is that correct?
Mhm.
And do you also have a ring belonging to your mum as well?
I do.
Yes. She's just put this ring on my finger, so she knows that you keep her ring close to you. I don't know that you wear it all the time, but she's saying that you keep it close to you, and she loves that because it's another connection. Now, I also want to give you butterflies as well, or dragonflies. Does that make sense as a sign for you?
Butterflies, yes.
Okay, because she's just done that, just in my vision here, put this butterfly, and I just feel like she's letting you know that that is a sign from her, and that is something that you look to connect you with the other world as well. Like it's a symbol for you that they are there. Now, just I know I can't stay with you long because I know I'm going to try and get through some other readings, but I honestly feel like she's singing, and I don't know why. I'm not going to start singing, but she's singing. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
She's just wanting to do the song on her way out, kind of thing, to say it is me. And she needs you to know I'm full of energy, I'm still alive, I'm still there with you. There is a talk about someone that had problems with a house. So I don't know if it was her home or you're changing home or something.
It could have been hers at the time she died, or it could have been that my son is in the process of buying a house and he almost lost it in multiple offers, but miraculously it came together. And I said, "You've got a real estate
Yeah.
guardian angel in the sky."
That's the one we're talking about. I feel like it's more current than it being way back in time. So I know that it's your son's. So I would say that she's taking credit for that. And I
Good.
feel like
I'm glad.
that's just the way she is. I honestly know that, oh, she talks about angels as well. So I do feel like you talk about angels, or I know you said like guardian angel, but I feel like there's more to it than that. Like someone has read about angels or there's an angel connection. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And where is the MR name? Like, I don't know if it was like Maury I was hearing or Mary or
Her name is Mary.
Mary. Okay, so she's just maybe it's my accent picking it up wrong, but I feel like she was giving it to me that way. So she was giving me
Her
her name.
mother's name is Marie as well. So
That's,
those are
I think it was
very-
your, I think it's your mum's that she was trying to give me her name. So please know that it is her. Please understand that she is with you all the time. And you talked about your son with that house, and she's making me feel like everything's good now. There's going to be less stress. Everything's good now. You don't have to worry about this. All right. So I am going to leave you with your mum's love. I could be honest and stay with your mum all night because she's a lovely lady and she wants to chat, but I do have to move on to others. But I hope that that helps you, Chantel.
so much. Thank you. Thank you. And
No.
thank you, Mom and Grandpa.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I am just going to keep moving through and seeing who else comes in now. So I'm going to connect with this younger male that I've got here. Now, as I make a connection to him, he does make me feel that he passes away suddenly to the spirit world. And I do feel it's a traumatic passing. I do feel, I don't know if he was in his 40s or maybe 30s, but I just feel that he's young to pass. And I know that it's sudden. I feel it's more like an accidental kind of passing, or that there's questions about his passing. It's that he's putting question marks around as well as I'm getting that information. I know he didn't get his goodbyes with anyone, and I feel that he was a well-liked character. I feel like everybody liked him. He got on well with people, and he was just really in the middle of his life, is the way that he's putting this in. Now, is there anyone that can understand that so far? No one?
I see Tammy and Mary. Let's see. Let's have them both.
Okay.
Let's see.
So who did you say I was?
Oh, yes, I'll bring them up for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, here's Tammy, and then we have Mary. Whoops, there she is. And then I'm gonna put you in here, Karen. Okay.
Okay, so Tammy first, how is this making sense for you? Who is this for you?
It might be my cousin Felton, who passed away a while ago. He was in his 40s and he had a brain aneurysm and he was found as a John Doe.
Okay.
This happened in 2004, so it was a while ago.
Okay, and if I could just ask Mary the same question.
So my son, he died of suicide very abruptly, 2019. Very well liked, and no, we didn't get a chance to say goodbye.
I'm with you, Mary. Okay, so thank you, Tammy. And if you just listen in anyway, in case I come back to you, but for now, I know that I'm with Mary. All right. So with yourself, Mary, and your son, initially I felt like it was a traumatic passing, when it said accidental, I then started to see the question marks around it. So that's what was alerting me to think there might be questions around this. So it was suicide for your son. Now, I honestly feel like your son was bubbly and lovely, and people enjoyed his company, and he was well known within his community or friendship groups. I feel like people knew him. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
And I also feel with your son as well that, like, obviously with suicide, nobody expects that to happen, right? Nobody expects that. But I do feel that your son had struggles. I feel like he'd had struggles for a period of time. So it wasn't like an overnight thing. Is that right?
Yes.
And I know he didn't talk about them because he's telling me he didn't talk about them. So I know he didn't really want to burden anyone, or he didn't want to go over and over what was going on. And I feel for your son that there seemed to be like an emotional shift within him quite suddenly. So I know whatever started this or what the catalyst was, it felt like it was quite a disruption in his life, or something emotional in his life. But then I feel like he wouldn't then talk about it. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. Yes.
And do you know if was he in a relationship at that time, or had he had troubles within a relationship?
No, he had a girlfriend and
He did
they
have a
got along very well. He was addicted to Ativan, and he had attempted, or he says it was an accident months before that. And then he had some brain damage from that accident, and his personality really changed, and he kind of got mean towards her. But he
Okay.
had this great relationship prior to that.
I feel that he's taken accountability for that, Mary. I feel that he's shown me that there was that change in him, that something just changed. And I felt like it changed his relationship. So that would make sense. I do know that as he's given me that, he is full of emotion, Mary. I can't, like, the emotion just comes right through me when I work. And I know that he is so sorry and that there's so much emotion connected with this. And I know that he's telling you that he wasn't in his right mind. It wasn't a thought out process for him. I need you to know that it was something that just happened because of the way that he was feeling in that moment. It wasn't a long thought out process. Does that
Right.
make sense to you?
Yes, yes.
And he is so close to you, Mary, as well. And that might seem like an obvious thing to say, but not all mothers and sons or mothers and daughters have close relationships. But I feel that you were close to your son, and I feel that you are still close to your son. Now, when he had that addiction, that did change things for him. And when that addiction started, he is making me feel that it was started for like something had happened in his life, and then it started that addiction. So it wasn't like he'd always had it. Does that make sense?
Yes, I mean, he always kind of felt less than his whole life because he had ADD and he was on meds young, but he
Mhm.
did have a job. He stupidly found another job and let people know, and then that current job found out and fired him, which is
Okay,
a normal
so
thing
that
that
would
happens,
add.
but he kept
Yeah.
blaming himself.
Well, your son is someone that I feel did instantly go into self-blame. Like he instantly went into it's all his fault in any situation. If there
Yeah.
was something that happened, he instantly blamed himself. And I know that that was due to his own self-esteem, like you said, and the way that he lived. Now, I will say to you, all of that's gone. Okay, he's telling you that he is just that pure soul, that if you could imagine your son when he was here, if he could have stripped that side of himself away and been happy and joyous, and that happiness that you've seen, that's the way he is now. So I want you to know he's worked on all of that emotional stuff. That's all
Good.
gone. He doesn't need to deal with that. But he is so sorry that he can't do that in life with you and with his family, because his family mean everything to him. Now, is there a brother for him as well? Does he have a brother?
Yes, he does.
And his brother's still here?
Yes.
because I feel like he is around his brother an awful lot as well. And I know that before he passed, he is making me feel like there was either a bit of distance with his brother, or maybe they're just very different the way they deal with things. Is that correct?
Different, yes, yes.
Because he loves his brother, he loves his whole family, and I know that it's important to mention. And also, is there someone here that got a tattoo for him?
Yes, they all, I have had 4 kids, and they all decided to get a tattoo together
Oh,
of circles. And so, yeah, they all have, and then the 3 of them have gotten another tattoo for him as well.
well, he absolutely adores it. So let them know that he adores it and that he appreciates the thoughts that were behind it as well.
I
You
do have,
know, he's,
I'm sorry, I do have a question.
yeah.
So he was a surprise baby. I was 42 or 40, and you wonder, why did this come into my life? And I spent a lot of time since then thinking, what was the lesson I was supposed to learn? What was,
Okay.
I understand he's good, he's happy, but what about me? And then I realized I was being selfish. I was worrying about myself and not about him. So I wonder if he has any comment about that.
Yeah, absolutely, Mary. You were never being selfish, and you could never be selfish. It's your child. You know, you're going to grieve that hard for your child. It's the hardest grief anyone can go through. So please never feel that you're being selfish. But to answer your question straight away, there isn't a lesson in this. I think that people get really, and all through mediumship, I hear this where people are thinking, what was I supposed to gain out of that? Or what was my lesson? Or what did I do to deserve that? Or how am I supposed to cope with that? But really, it's not about that. It's not about a lesson for you. It was his journey, and it was something that happened on his journey. And it has had such an effect on you. Of course it has. And that's a terrible grief that you're coping with. But please don't ever think that you were supposed to learn something out of that, or it was
Okay.
meant, okay? Because it wasn't meant, sweetheart. That was a free will choice,
Okay.
that your son took in that moment in time. And I feel that that's why he's letting you know that he is shining, that he is that pure light that you always knew that he could be and that he was at times. It was just that your son had his battle, like his mind was battling all the time. So even in his happiest moments, I don't really know that he was truly feeling the joy of life the way that he should have,
Yeah,
because of
I
maybe
agree.
his ADD and things. Is that all
Yeah,
making sense?
makes
Okay.
total sense. Yes.
Now, I feel that he has visited you as well, Mary. So he is making me feel that he was able to get your attention. He's saying it. So
Yes,
was
he
there,
has.
have you felt that yourself?
Yes, yes,
So
yes,
please know that that is him. Please know that it is him. And I know that you said he worked and what happened with his job happened, but I do feel like it was hard for him to cope with work. Like he's clever and I feel like he's bright and he can do work, but I do feel that he did have a run of bad luck with that, or there was
yeah,
certainly a sense of it being difficult. Is that correct as well?
yes, very much yes.
And all he ever wanted was the relationship, the family, the moving on, the potential for things. And he knows that put a stop to that, but he was ill. He was unwell with his addiction. And he just wants you to know, if he could have changed anything about it, then of course he would. Of course he would be here with you. Okay. I will tell you as well, Mary, that he did have a peaceful passing. So I don't want you to worry about what he went through, because I really don't feel that he was aware. I really don't. I feel that when he passed to the spirit world, it felt very quick to him, or it felt very peaceful. Would that make sense?
Yes. Well, yes, he jumped off the roof of his building, but he told me through another medium that Jesus and some other relatives caught him before he landed.
I promise you now, the trauma of that jump to us, to humans on this earth, is very traumatic, that thought. But to him, he was in the spirit world very quickly, and it felt like he just left this world into the next. There wasn't the trauma of what happened with the physical body. He was over in the spirit world and taken care of. And so that other medium that said that to you, I would absolutely agree that your son was cradled and your son was helped over there very quickly. All
Thank you.
right. Can I also say as well, is his father still here?
Yes.
So with his dad, does his dad not talk about this, or does he find it very difficult still to cope with this?
It's very difficult for him. He says that when he sees him up in heaven, he's going to punch him in the nose, but he doesn't mean that.
No, of course he doesn't. But I just feel like he wants his dad to know that he's with him as well. Okay, it's important for him to mention his dad as well. And one other thing that I want to say as well, there must be, I know you'll have many photographs of your son, but I
Yes.
feel like you've put a special photo together or like I don't know if it's an album or just one photo, but you've brought stuff together. Is that correct?
Yes, yes,
And he loves that. And I feel that that photo is one where he's smiling and happy and the sun's
yes.
shining basically. And he absolutely loves that. Okay, so no,
Okay.
he knows that he's nestled within the family still and that he's held and loved. And you don't
Oh,
have to
okay.
worry about him. You don't have to worry. One last thing. Do you have a dog in the spirit side as well?
We do, yes.
'Cause there's a dog with him. Okay.
Ah, Murphy. Okay.
Yeah, so the dogs just came in with him and just sat there. So I know that dogs also bring that unconditional love. So please, for now, know that your son is safe and sound in the spirit world. He'll walk with you till he sees you again, and you will see him again. All right, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll leave you with that, Mary. Thank you. Okay, let me see where we go now. So I've got a lady here, and I know that as a link with her, she, I'm going to say that she is young to pass as well. I'm feeling that this lady's maybe only in her maybe 50s or 60s, maybe even a little bit younger. She feels very youthful as she's connecting with me, and I can sense that that was more of her personality or more of how she presented herself in life. I also feel that something happened really quickly with her. There was a medical emergency or some sort of emergency around her where everyone was shocked and I don't feel that she passed I don't feel she passed straight away. I feel like she might have got some medical help, or there was a feeling of doctors around her or people trying to help her in some sense. Is there anybody that can understand that first of all?
It looks like Julia.
Yes, I have a friend who had, this is quite some time ago now, and I'm surprised, but not surprised because she was a close confidant of mine. She had a tummy tuck and she died from the anesthesia. And
Okay.
very sudden, and we lived in the UK at the time. She lived in the UK. She was actually British, and I knew her from our time living in the UK. And the way they do
Okay.
plastic surgery there, she went to another country to have it done, and went back to the place where she was, and within a few hours, I have chills because I can feel her actually now that you say this. Um, she woke up, like came back, and her sister was in the room, had a procedure the day before, and she said, "I'm not feeling well," and
Mm-hmm.
went to go get the nurse, and by the time they came back, she had passed.
She passed. Okay. So that makes sense for me in what I'm receiving, in the fact that she made me feel like it was a medical emergency. She made me feel like, people tried to help her, revive her, try to help bring her back. That's the feeling that I get. So this was a close friend of yours, Julia, is that correct? You said
Yeah,
it was a friend. She feels like more than a friend as well. Like I feel like at times you were maybe closer at certain times, and then maybe there was times you didn't see each other, and then you would come back together, that kind of friendship. Is that correct?
very true. Yes.
Yeah. And I don't feel that she had an easy life in a sense. I feel that there was like it wasn't a walk in the park for her. So I feel like there was stuff in her background, maybe to do with her family or her relationship history, where things were difficult for her sometimes. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Because I know that as she shows me that, she's showing me her mental health struggled sometimes, or her emotional health struggled sometimes. But she would put a face on things, and she would be out in the world doing her thing, and people thought she was misconfident all the time, and she was just getting on, and nothing frightened her. Is that correct?
That is true. Yes.
Yeah. Now, when she first came in and joined me, it's like she wanted to have a laugh and music and kind of socializing and all of that. Is that right?
Totally her. Yes.
Yeah, and it's like if she could have a party with all of us right now, then that's exactly what she wants to do. Just have a good time, live it up. Let's see what happens tomorrow. And she's kind of got that attitude, like just be free and live your life and let's see what happens, right? So she is very much around you. But is your mum in the spirit side as well, Julia?
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Because I feel like your mum's connecting with you as well. And I know that your mum's a strong woman as well, right? But but I feel like your mum didn't always do everything. She wasn't always soft like your mum. She didn't always do everything in the right way. Is that correct?
No, she did not. Yeah. That is
Okay,
fair.
that's fine, because I know that as I'm connecting with your mum, she is very much a lady that just stands forward and says, well, that's how I am and that's how it was. And we're not making apologies for it because we all have to live life. She's just very boom, straight to the point. Is that correct?
so completely how she was. And my
Yeah.
daughter is shaking her head
Yeah.
because that is how she was. And
Yeah, and there's no arguing with it. That's just how it is. She's actually a very loving lady. I feel like she's got lots of love with her, but I think at times you could either come into conflict with her, or there was times where you would just so disagree with the way she was, but there was no resolution to it because she wasn't going to change, right? She just wasn't.
that,
Now, on a serious note with that, Julia, I do feel that she is apologising to you and acknowledging that there was times that maybe she felt she was too tough on you, or maybe she felt that she could have been a bit more compassionate about things or gave you a little bit more leniency at times. Would you agree with that?
yeah, I think, yeah, yes. It's not exactly how I would describe it, but yes, I think that's true.
If I'm wrong, you can tell me I'm wrong though, because I don't want to get it
I
mixed
don't think
up.
it's wrong, but I think it's indicative of the conflict that we had with one another.
Yeah.
That like this is the way she sees it, and I see it differently. That is the way she saw it. It isn't the way I saw it.
Absolutely. And I think I think that there's I've got to say she's making me feel like there's a little tinge within you that is a bit like her. So I'm not saying that you acted the same or done things the same, but I feel like you've got that strength of spirit within you as well, Julia, and I feel like you'll stick to your guns when you need to stick to your guns. Does that make sense?
I'd say that's true, yeah.
Yeah. And I do feel, Julia, with you as well, that she's shown me that you're the fixer as well. So you're the one that will help other people. You'll do things for other people. You're a very considerate person. And I feel that you're actually a very humble person as well. Would that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I've got to say to you with your mum as well, there must have been a period of time where your mum was unwell before she crossed. Because to me, it doesn't feel sudden. It's not like your friend that I've got here. I feel like it's a different kind of passing. So you would have known that your mum was unwell, or you would have had some knowledge of things. Is that correct?
It is.
And your mum's not a lady to lie down to things either. So I don't feel she wanted to lie down to it or surrender to it. She didn't have a choice, she's saying. I didn't have a choice. And I know that she didn't want to go to hospital. I know that she didn't want to be in the hospital or any of that. Is that correct?
Treatment.
Oh.
She had lung cancer and it was too far to really like do anything for her. So she ended up on hospice, but she also knew that she had cancer, didn't tell any of us, and waited until it was too far gone.
Yeah, and that's just her. And even you're saying to me she was in hospice, but she is a lady that I honestly feel like she would not give up until she had to give up. Like she's just not doing it. She's going to call the shots here because that's how she is in life and that's how she's going to be. Now, I do know that you've seen a more fragile side to her coming to the end of her life. I do understand that. And she understands that she softened at that point, or maybe she appreciated things slightly differently as well. She is showing me a purse. So do you have a purse that belongs to her? I don't know if it's like a money, like we would call a purse here in the UK, like for money,
I don't
or
know.
I don't know if she means a bag. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Um, Not that I know of. Do you have?
I think me or my twin sister have like a little kind of like coin purse of hers that was like
That's
beaded.
fine. Yeah, that's fine. Because I call it a purse in the UK, we're calling that the purse, right? So I feel like she knows that you've got that as well, okay, or that you've kept hold. And it's not of monetary value, it's not of anything fancy, but she just knows that you've held on to it as well. And I guess that's her way of bringing you into it, sweetheart, as well. Like she wants you to know that she's around you too. All right, she's around all of you. Now, I am going to the two things actually, if I'm still with you, which I think I am, is there someone that plays the guitar? There's someone that plays a guitar or wanted to learn to play a musical
Both of
instrument.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So I don't know if you done it. I don't know if you achieved it, but I feel like she's talking about it, right? Just so that you know that she knows about it. And the other thing I wanted to ask as well, do you know Jack?
We know Jeff.
I thought it was Jack that I was hearing. Do you know a Jack at all? Or Jackie?
I do know a Jackie. Oh my God. Yeah.
Who is Jackie?
Um, she died in the 4th of July shooting in Highland Park in our hometown. And I'm sure Robin and the other people who
Mhm.
are here in Illinois know. And I worked with her when my children were little.
Okay.
Jackie, I know.
That's okay. I just hear the name being shouted in. Okay, Jackie. So I'm going to tell you if other people on this call, like Robin, knows this Jackie as well. Then I feel she's using it as an opportunity to say hello, as she's shouting her name in as well. All right, because she was a very vibrant person as well. Like very vibrant as she's there, lots of color about her. I can feel that, and lots of energy about her as well. Okay, so I know that she's also there, just saying her hellos too. So I'm going to say that I feel that your mum needed to connect with you, and I feel that your friend needed to connect. It was actually your friend that opened the whole thing up for your mum to come in. When your mum became immobile or couldn't do what she wanted to do, I know that that became an issue for her, and she would rather go in that sense. Does that make sense to you?
She did not want to live in a disabled state, and her independence. When you first opened up and you were talking about three, I have two siblings. And so that I felt like she might have, and actually she connected with me last night. I woke up and she had been in my dream last night. And I do sometimes smell her. I sometimes feel her touch behind me. And we weren't particularly close. We had a lot of confidence between us, but I absolutely know she's around me.
She is. She is. And just before I leave you, sweetheart, she's bringing roses in for you. So I know there's got to be a rose connection. I don't know if it's the name or the flower rose, but I feel like definitely she's shown me. To me, it looks as a yellow rose that she's shown me. Does that make any sense to you? Not sure about that?
I mean, it could be flowers.
Okay.
I just got married in October, so could be related to that too.
Did you have anything yellow within your color scheme? Was there yellow?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it might just be my mistake thinking of the rose, but I know that there's the yellow as soon as we talk about that. So again, it's her way of letting you know that she was at your wedding or that she knows of your wedding, sweetheart. Okay, so please know that. And just before I finish, there's also a baby. So she's talking to me about a baby. I don't know if there's a baby to come within your family, and it doesn't have to be with you. I don't know, but I feel like there's going to be a baby. That's always the biggest no that I will get. That's okay. But there is a baby. There is a baby. She showed me a scan photo of a baby. So I'm going to say to you, if you don't know someone within family that's pregnant or hearing pregnancy news, I definitely feel that that's going to be coming. Okay, I actually know that that's quite imminent the way that I'm feeling it. All right. So just we'll leave that one there and we'll see what happens. Okay. But thank you for working with me. I'll leave all of the love with the two of you just now, and I'll say thank you for working with me.
Thank you so much. Thank you to my mom. Thank you to Bryony. Thank you to Jackie. All of those. That's a big reading. Lots of people
Yeah,
came.
lots of people coming in. Okay, so let me just go for the next one and see where we go. Okay, it's a man that I've got here. Now, when this gentleman comes forward, his lungs were an issue for him. Like he's making me feel like there's fluid in the lung, there's something going on in his lungs, where I can actually feel like he is coughing, there is a heaviness on his chest. So I don't feel it's the heart with this man, I do feel it's more the lungs. And I sense with him as well that he lived with that for some time. I feel like it was like a slow deterioration, and then at the end something really picked up and it went full steam ahead. That's the way you're saying it. Like then it just went rapidly there at the end for this man. I feel that he's father or father figure for the person that I'm looking for. And I also can sense with him as well that he is a man that can, I'm not going to say be grumpy, but I feel like he could get frustrated sometimes. So I feel maybe through his illness or maybe when things weren't going right, there was a little bit of frustration there with the man as well. But he loves his family. His family are everything to him. Is there anyone that understands that so far?
My father, my parents were married all this time, but we expected my father to go first, and he didn't, and he had dementia, and he had been a very vibrant and open and kind person, and his family meant everything to him. And watching the decline, what you're describing is kind of
Is correct for him.
it was very frustrating for him.
Okay, bear with me 1 second. Is there anyone else that understands this as well? Just so I can check. And maybe not left you yet then, Julia, but just so I can check.
Could be
Sorry,
my
sorry.
grandfather.
Oh, Nicole and Chantal, let me bring you guys up so that Karen can
Okay.
see you. Hang on. Wait, where'd you go? There's Chantal.
Okay, so I'll ask Nicole first. So what makes sense to you, sweetheart, about that?
Well, it could be my grandfather, who was the main father figure in our family. He actually adopted my mom and grandmother. He wasn't biological, but he was very much the
Involved.
best example of a father and husband that I had even.
Okay.
And he died when he was 100.
Oh,
And his
wow.
lungs were I took care of him in his last few years, and his lungs kind of also would fill up with fluid. And at the end, I
Yeah.
think that's what got him.
Okay, bear with me 1 second. And Chantal, what do you understand about this?
Um, I have a stepfather who was a chain smoker for forever and ever and ever. And he actually was, I hadn't talked to him in many years. My mom and he divorced. And then shortly before he died, he reconnected with us. And truthfully, I don't think family was all that important to him through big sections of his life. But at the end, it became critical. And at that point, it was too late.
Okay.
I know he died suddenly, but I don't know actually exactly what happened.
Okay, bear with me 1 second. Nicole, if I was with you, do you understand the name Tom or Tommy or
Yes,
who's
that's my
Tommy?
brother.
That's your brother. Okay, I'm with Nicole because the whole time I was speaking, I was hearing him saying Tommy. So I'm with you,
Okay.
Nicole. Okay, so thank you for answering as well, Chantel. But is your brother still here?
Yes.
Yes, that's fine. So this is your grandfather then. The lungs were an issue for him, which is the main thing that he was showing me. But I do understand if he was 100, there might have been other things. But I just feel like the lungs were the biggest thing that he was showing me. Now, I will say to you as well, like the stature of this man, and I want to call it stature because what I feel is that he stood, I'm not saying he was tall in height, I don't know that, but he stood tall. Like his presence within the family and everything that he brought down ran right through the family. Like he
Yeah,
was big on that. Is that correct?
1,000%. And
And
he wasn't tall.
no, I didn't feel that he was tall in stature, but I felt like his presence was tall, like he was big. It was a big presence. Now, I feel like he was very good at doing things with his hands. So I feel like, I'm not saying it had to be DIY, but I feel like there was definitely a sense of him being busy or working hard in his life as well. Is that correct?
Yes, he set up all of the like uh TV towers in Venezuela, and he always used to say he did it all with his own 2 hands.
On 2 hands. And you know this, I was going to say to you, was he an engineer or something? Because I felt with him as well like he was
Yeah,
clever. Like there was definitely that engineering brain about him. Like he could work things
he
out,
was
couldn't
an
he?
engineer.
He
Yes.
was, okay. Now I can sense with him as well, like he's a cheery man. And what I mean by that is I feel like he wants to come in today and bring you a smile and bring you love. And he wants you to know that everything's fine here. And he's a man that would have great wisdom, I feel. You know, if you wanted to have a conversation with him, even up until the end, I feel like he would have good things to say, or he would let you know, like he would come out with things that you would think, oh, I never thought about it like that. He had good advice. Does that make sense?
He was the wisest person I ever knew. Yes.
You know, I've got to say he's very spiritual as well. Like, I'm not saying he believed in mediums or mediumship, but I do feel he had a notion that there was something else. I don't know if it in a religious way or not, but he just knew there was something after this life. Would that be correct?
Very much so. He was quite Catholic, but married into this Jewish family, and he loved the whole Jewish religion and traditions. He was a very studied man. He was a philosopher. He wrote about 56 volumes of his own philosophy.
That
So,
makes sense to me because I was thinking he's got wisdom. He's telling me
yeah,
that he could say things that everyone would enjoy and take something from. And you know, that brought him great joy. And I think that with your grandfather, he did use the experience of his own life and his own, I'm going to say vocation, because it does feel like he had a vocation. It does feel like your grandfather left an imprint in this world. You know, people would recognize more, people would know what he did. And for that, that felt like a vocation to your grandfather, and he was proud of what he did. I did say that he was a bit frustrated at times, and I do still sense that. Now, that might have just been through his illness. Would that make sense to you?
that was, I think,
at the end of his life, because I was going to tell you the only thing that doesn't make sense that made me hesitate is he was not somebody who was angry or
Yeah,
frustrated, but
yeah,
he had Alzheimer's in the last couple of years of his life. And that turned him into like
yeah.
there was a lot of frustration and a lot of,
And
yeah.
that makes sense for me because I can feel your grandfather. I know how loving he is. I know how spiritual he is and how he conducted himself. But that little bit of frustration kept popping in there. So I know that really it's just his memory of how that changed him in slight ways, or how he coped with things in ways as well. I will tell you that he is thanking you so much for being there for him. So I need you to know that he appreciates everything that you did. And also, when he passed away, did he pass away near someone's birthday? Was there a birthday at that time as well?
Uh,
Would you
mm,
remember?
I
Or a,
mean,
or a,
my niece's birthday was a couple of weeks earlier, but he wouldn't
no,
have even known
no,
that. No.
I don't think it's that. I feel like it's, and if it's not a birthday, I would say it has to be like on an anniversary date of something, or around another important date, is what
I
I'm
mean, he
feeling.
passed away. I can't remember if it was August 27th or 28th. It was one of those two.
So I don't know if that's
And my birthday
near.
is October 27th. I don't know. I'm
No,
not
that would be
seeing a
too
big
far.
connection.
Yeah, no,
No.
that wouldn't make sense for me. Just please remember that he's definitely talking about something. I'm going to say 2 or 3 days before he passed. There's a date round about then, so that'd be like 24th, 25th of August, something like that, where there's definitely another significant date. And it's in connection with a lady in the spirit world. Okay, so there's a lady over there that makes sense for. Doesn't need to be a birthday for her. It could be an anniversary or a memorial date. But just please remember, I've given you it. You can maybe work that
Okay,
out,
I'll
or
look into
it'll
it.
come back to
Mhm.
you. Okay. Your grandfather, I know, had a great interest in uh, studying the family or studying history in some sense.
Yes.
So he could go back in time and look at things, whether it was family links or whether it was where you lived. I just feel like he enjoyed finding out things, that spoke to him as well. And I know that he's doing that in the spirit world. And you mentioned books and things, and I feel like he's still using his wisdom to influence someone here. Is there someone here that wrote a book, or is there someone here that's very creative?
He wrote a book. I mean, he compiled his many volumes of philosophy into one book, which he was very proud of. And there
Yeah,
were
so
4 copies printed.
okay, so has anybody here been talking about that book then, or is there anybody that's still here in this world that's also wanting to write a book or wanting to be creative in some way?
I don't know. It could be my brother, but my brother we don't communicate. We're not in touch and haven't been for a few years.
And is
So
that the brother that we mentioned at the
that's
start?
Tommy.
Tommy.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm wondering then if it is Tommy and that you're going to either hear something, or it might just be hear news from Tommy or his family or something like that. And it won't be bad news. So I have to say that's not a prediction, but there might be something that you hear or something that you find out about down the line. Okay. Because the
Okay.
fact he's mentioned him by name and now he's talking about that very well could be that as well. He is shaking his finger here as if to say, you don't worry about that. I know that you're a family person and you want to be in touch and all the rest of it, but sometimes you have to step back for your own peace. And this life that we live, we're meant to look after ourselves too. So I feel like he's giving you a little bit of reassurance that it's all going to be okay come the end of the day and that you don't have to worry about things. All right.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you with your grandfather's love and say
Thank
thank you so much for working with me. Thank you.
you.
Robin, how are we doing for time?
We're
I know it's
just at
late.
time. So I
Yeah,
just
I
want
thought
to
so.
say, oh my goodness, because I'm so honored to have been here for these different readings. And I just also want to say how many parallels there were, I believe, in your readings. Lisa, I would love Lisa to just share the parallels with Chantal's reading first.
Yeah,
And then I'll
yeah, that was weird. I put it in the chat, but you had mentioned you started with like one of three, and I have two siblings, and my mom did pass after a hospital stay. You had mentioned somebody named Paul. I have an uncle named Paul, but he's still here. Some stuff with my sister. I have my mom's engagement ring that I've always worn, and then a butterfly. I have a tattoo. All the wings are her initials. So kind
I
of all
love that.
lined up in a very weird way.
And at the end, Karen mentioned like Mary or Marino.
M-A-R.
Yeah, and that's the last name is Marino.
Marino.
So
Okay, so definitely two messages coming through, and I think
Yes.
sometimes what happens with spirit, if there is a likeness like that, a parallel like that, they do tend to like try to get the message through anyway. You often find that one person can take all of it and the other person take most of it, and it is a parallel. It's amazing the way that it works.
It
It
is.
really is. And I just felt like I know for me too, with the different moms that came through, there was a lot of parallel with my own relationship with my mother. And so I know that was for me to hear too. And Julia, I was like, I love that Jackie Sondheim gave a little shout out because she and I weren't super close, but we did work together in certain aspects of life. And she was bright and she has never come through in that way. And she was really lost tragically. So thank you for that. And just thank you for such clear and validating messages. I really hope that everybody here can leave just feeling a little more connected, even if you didn't get a reading. All of the readings I know for me, just even being here and witnessing, have touched me in a way that I know will stay with me. And so, Karen, thank you so much for being the messenger and for articulating and expressing it so beautifully and heartfully.
It's my pleasure, and it does mean a lot to me to do this work, and it does mean a lot that healing's brought from this work as well. So I want to thank everyone for coming along tonight as well, and just kind of trusting me to demonstrate that, and hope that everyone did get something from that.
Thank you. And you can check out more from Karen and find out what she has coming up in terms of different events and working with her at KarenDocherty.com. I'll also be following up with the recording and with that information in what I send out tomorrow. And that's Karen, DOCHERTY.com. So thank you. Thanks,
Perfect.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.